Everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Training. I hope you're having a fantastic week. As always,
we are live from Austin, Texas, right here at Insurance Syndicate headquarters. And man, we have a great show for you.
Good morning. What is going on, man? It's Tuesday. Running a little late today. We've had some technical problems. Our guest is having a couple of issues as well. StreamYard is doing some strange stuff this morning. So I hope this is coming in loud and clear. Do me a solid. Drop something in the comments to let me know that you can definitely hear me. Because again, StreamYard doing some strange stuff this morning. It is requiring my guest to go through a whole Facebook login process just to get on and join us, which normally is not the case. They can just click the link and hop right in. She's having a little difficulty, but I do expect her to pop in. And if not, no worries, man. I got a few things that I want to talk to you guys about. Hope y'all are having a fantastic Tuesday, number one. It has been a wild and woolly beginning to the year, has it not? But all good stuff, man. Right here at Syndicate headquarters, live is Tuesday Training for you. As always, this show is brought to you by DFY CRM, and that's a big crux of the topic today. So I am excited to get our guest on. Kaitlyn has been on the show before, talking about gohighlevel SAAS products, right? Software services, whatever that exactly means, and all of those good things. So we wanted to catch up with her, talk about some of the updates going on in the gohighlevel world, the SAAS world, maybe some use cases, and just things to look for. Because one thing that is definitely true in the insurance space, gohighlevel is probably one of the most prominent CRMs that agents are using out there, whether you're using DFY or you're using one of the many other ones. So, and she just made it on, so we'll bring her up here on stage here in just a minute. Before I do that, I wanted to touch one item as well. I had a chance last week to go to Houston for a couple of events. I went for NABIP's Professional Development Day in Houston. We got 5 hours of CE credits. It was a great event. Emily Trevino put that on and did an absolutely outstanding job with the location and everything. They had a huge turnout. I want to say there was close to 200 people showed up for their Professional Development Day. Pretty slamming for a NABIP event. And then the second day, we went over to Justin Brock's Make Medicare Great Again event, which was also an outstanding event. And that one obviously was centered all around Medicare. He was nice enough to give out these super cool journals to everybody. And I had some notes. I had quite a few notes, but there was one item that I wanted to run through with you guys to help get the show started. And then we'll bring Kaitlyn on real quick. And this was a topic that Emily Trevino talked about. And it gets talked about a lot in different ways, right? There's people on Facebook and these different Facebook groups, the insurance group specifically. There's a common question that's always like, hey, who's the best FMO out there? Right, I'm looking for a new FMO. I need an FMO or broker to put my contracts with. Where do you suggest I go? What should I be looking for? And one of the answers I've always given, as I've said before, is that first thing you always have to do is look inside yourself and find out what are the things that I need to be successful in this industry that I can't provide for myself. And then look for an FMO that can bring those things so it's a good, true relationship. And then obviously the compensation should be there fairly as well. But Emily brought up 5 ways that you can learn to leverage your upline or your FMO or whatever you want to call it, your broker. 5 good ways that you can do it. And I just wanted to run through them real quick because I thought it was spot on. And the first one is certainly training, right? What kind of training are you getting from your FMO, your upline, your broker of choice, your mentor, your MGA, your SGA, whatever acronym you want to put on them? What are you getting from them? Are you getting some training, right? And some of that needs to be on you as well, right? If you're calling your broker and you're asking for election code items or kind of weird stuff, you know, what's the phone number to Medicare? Like, that's not the right type of stuff. They should be training you on product knowledge, industry knowledge, sales skills, more importantly. So what type of training are you getting, right? And most importantly, like it should be training on how to sell, not just your basic 101. So get granular with training with some of your brokers, perfect the sales process and certainly your pitch, right? And if you don't have an FMO or broker that offers sales training, you might just be misaligned. Second one she talked about was strategy. Tap your FMO to help you with strategy, specifically marketing and prospecting. I'm sorry, marketing and prospecting strategies, right? Can they help guide you in what you're trying to do to get in front of people, to market your business, to prospect yourself? Do they have some great ideas? Do they have some co-op dollars? Do they have some vendor relationships they can tie you into? Are they helping you actually strategize to get in front of people? That's one level. And then as you grow, maybe that strategy changes, and maybe you need a broker FMO that can help you strategize growth, scaling your business, right? And maybe even an exit strategy. So are those things that you're talking to your broker and your FMO about? Number three is aligning with people that do what you want to do. Are you aligning with a broker or FMO that has done what you're trying to do, right? There are a lot of brokers and FMOs out there that have frankly never written a single piece of business. They've never been inside a home. They don't know what it's like to go inside of a home that's I'll leave out all the imaginative expletives of what some of these homes look like. But some of these guys that are out there that are brokering your products and working as your FMO, they've never been inside a house. They've never sold a product over the phone, a Medicare supplement or a final expense. They've never cross-marketed a hospital indemnity. They've never built an LOA agency or any type of an agency, right? They are great product distributors, but they really don't know what it's like to be out in the field and some of the challenges that we go through. So a lot of times when you're looking for the right broker to match up with, do they have proof of concept, and have they done what it is that you're trying to do and can show you that proof of concept to help you strategize and do that, right? So align with the brokers and people that are doing what you're trying to do or have done what you're trying to do. Number four, they should give you help with operational obstacles. Operational obstacles, right? Things happen in this business where things just break down. Operational items break down, whether it's new business getting approved on time, carrier level problems, vendor level problems, right? Are they able to step in and help you solve some of those operational issues quickly, timely, so that you can do what you're supposed to be doing from day to day, which is meeting new clients, prospecting, marketing, and selling, right? Your time should always be spent on IPAs, income producing activities. So do you have a broker FMO that has the ability to jump in and help you quickly resolve operational issues that pop up in your business? And then finally, the final item that she mentioned that you should be aligning or leveraging your broker FMO about is succession planning, especially if you are out there growing an agency. And even if you're not growing an agency, if you're just growing an individual book, like you should definitely chat with them about, hey, what is it going to look like when I leave, when I'm done selling, when I don't want to sell anymore? How do we make sure that, number one, I retain as much of my book? How do I set it up for an exit? Whatever I'm trying to do, are they helping you with succession planning? Do they know what that looks like? And can give you those tools? So those were 5 ways that Emily talked about on ways you can leverage your upline. I found some good value in it. And since people, again, chatter about FMOs a lot and brokers a lot on these different Facebook groups, I thought it was fairly timely. So I don't have a lot of news. That was my main little one thing that I wanted to jump at. And then other than that, we are going to dive in to some SAAS and Go High Level stuff. My guest today, Kaitlyn Lemus Portillo, is I believe the founder, or at least one of the owners of Freedom Automations. I have worked with her in the past, helping me do some custom build outs for my Go High Level experience. Absolutely exceptional work. She puts on events. She's one of the sought after speakers that they're always talking about at these SAAS conferences and so forth. So I'm super excited to bring her on. Welcome to the party. How are you doing, Mr. Castillo?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on, Tony. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well. Are you joining us from Costa Rica?
We're in El Salvador today, actually. A lot of great things happening. We just opened up our first office in El Salvador, so we've been here for about 2 weeks. So We drove from Costa Rica 19 hours straight, got to El Salvador, set up the penthouse, got the office going. We have a couple employees actually here from El Salvador, and we are working away and getting everything settled. So yeah, it's been a journey. The
I
house is
imagine.
finished. The compound, the high level compound in Costa Rica is done. Now other business owners can come rent it out. Other retreat people can actually use our compound and our property. We actually got 2 bookings yesterday for it. So like God is really good. He's showing up and showing out for me right now. So
Right on, right on. Well,
yeah.
we have another partner in El Salvador. I don't know exactly where they're located in El Salvador, but I think it's kind of a small country. Viva Virtual Solutions, they're one of our
Okay.
partners and sponsors. As a matter of fact, the producer of all the stuff that we do in the syndicate that helps us push out content is one of the VAs that works with Viva Virtual Solutions there. So if you need any VA help, give them a holler.
Listen, I'll
They might
take
be
you
able to
up on
jump
it.
in.
It's been a great experience. We love the El Salvadorian people as well. And a lot of people don't know this, but my husband was born and raised in El Salvador before he came to the US
That's
and
right.
joined the United States military. So it's really cool. I have my mother-in-law here and his brothers and a bunch of relatives. So it's really nice because we didn't have that in Costa Rica.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah.
And you, if I remember correctly, you just recently got back from a pretty big SaaS conference of some sort.
We did. So we got our second high level plaque. It was a pretty big deal. I would have loved to have them on the wall here, but we just aren't fully settled into the office yet. So
Sure.
I said, listen, man, let's not worry about that today. So we did get our second high level plaque, and we are really kicking some sass in the industry. And then we have our event coming up in Costa Rica. I'm the founder of the Kicking SaaS Summit, and previously was Freedom Mastery series of events I've been doing for the last 3 4 years in Costa Rica. But this year we're doing Kicking SaaS, as we're really trying to help agencies who do SaaS or a hybrid SaaS with a service, or what they call SWAS. And so we're very excited for that. Costa Rica and El Salvador have my heart. I love it. I love Latin America. And I love traveling. This has been a really cool experience, and getting to like understand the cultures, and honestly being able to provide jobs for people who
Hmm.
might not have had that opportunity before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're doing some similar stuff with not only with work with Viva Virtual Solutions there, but I've also got virtual assistants that help us out in Colombia,
Oh
that are
yeah.
working with us full time, and they're making more money uh, working with us in that capacity than they would otherwise have an opportunity to earn
Oh
or
yeah.
do, and
Yeah.
sometimes even more professional type of work. So I can
Yeah.
appreciate that as well. So tell us just a couple of quick things. What were some of the takeaways from your recent conference that you might want to share with us?
Okay, so really cool takeaway actually, and I took this one to the next level, and I will send you the result of this here in the next few days, because I think it'll be cool selfishly for us to like see what it is. Okay, so there was a guy that spoke at the conference named Jim Edwards, okay? He specialized in, basically he told you you could make 1 billion or $100 million off of one offer, okay? Now, by simplifying the offer, by stopping getting so emotionally charged up by all these gurus and marketing people telling you like what the offer should be, right? He sat us down. We were in there for almost an hour. The room was packed, by the way.
Sure.
Anybody who was smart knew to go to Jim Edwards' side room. All right. And it's funny because I saw all of like my really great colleagues that were in there, and I'm like, okay, yeah, And so so my new offer, and what Freedom Automations is coming out with here in the next probably 2 weeks or so, is something I physically built while sitting there for an hour using my notes and Chat GPT.
Okay.
So one of the biggest takeaways was that, and I will gladly share that process and what I did, and I'll send it to you. So if the audience later on or in your group or whatever, they want to see, okay, what did she take from that and actually produce? I'll have that soon. The team sent me a message yesterday saying that they're hoping to have the rough draft done by the end of the week. And what this is, just to get really detailed here, what this is a new offer. And what I did was I took all the things we do and I thought negatively about it. So let me explain why I did that. What all we do and what all you do or someone else does can be very confusing to a potential lead. Okay. And even though things make sense in your mind, even though you can see the vision, or you're like, well, I know what we offer insurance. I know what we offer high level help. Well, that wasn't enough. We needed to get really, really like granular and really zoomed in to one offer and explain why they need that offer, why this is the best offer there, what they've done before that didn't work that leads to this offer, and then boundaries of the offer in the fine print. Well, we'll
Okay.
give you this offer, we'll do all this, but we won't do A, B, C, D. All right. And I was able to create what I think is going to be such a more organized offer and understandable to people who come to us. Because what we tend to do is, and I love this about us, this is what Freedom Automations is so well known for. I get tagged in groups all day long for this, is we give a lot of free advice. We give a lot of value. I'm willing to give away the cow and the milk for free because nobody's going to fully grasp it and take it and run with it anyway. Why not give it away? You know? And so that is what I took away from that. I built a whole brand new offer and I will gladly share it with you later. So if
Sure.
people later are like, well, what was the offer? What did she come up with compared to what they did before? Why is this less confusing? Well, I'll have that in a few days. So I'll send that off. That was one of the biggest things. And then lastly, one thing that I always uh, leave from these events thinking is, man, we all need to stay humble. Man, we got to stay more humble and more grateful. And we're all trying so hard to make that money or have all those sub accounts. The more sub accounts you have, the bigger the award or the
Sure.
affiliate awards. There's different awards within high level, right? But like, it isn't all about the awards, even though I feel like it is at times, or that I really want that recognition. Sometimes I have to go, I'm changing lives. I have a great life. My kids are safe. They're healthy. They're in a private school. Like, life is good. I don't
Yeah.
need to, like, and so a lot of times when we go to those conferences, it's kind of this whole like ego thing. And they're like, well, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? Oh, what is your MMR? How much do you make a month? And blah, 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 blah. Right. And I get caught up in it too. And those are things where a reality check when I'm leaving. I'm like, does that really freaking matter? Does it
Right.
though? Does it? Because if somebody had cancer tomorrow, would that award matter?
Right.
And so I leave those events going, okay, Kate, always be humble, always be humble, or you were a little too cocky in that conversation. Dial it back a little, girlfriend. So when I leave conferences, I always get I force myself to reality check myself. Hey, you're a cool chick, but we're all cool chicks, right? And you're not doing anything better than anybody else, and they're not doing it better than you. And none of this in the big scheme of things matters, even though it kind of does. Okay. So, which is why we do the Kicking SAAS Summit. And because it's in paradise and it's relaxing and you get to hang with the speakers instead of just watching them talk at you on stage,
Right.
it was to erase the ego. It was to erase the what do you do, put them in a paradise, make people relax. Because one thing I've noticed at conferences is a lot of people are not super relaxed. We're all on this guard. Oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Kate. I founded Freedom Automations. Oh, hi, I'm Tony Merwin. I kick ass in insurance. I'm pretty cool. Like, and you know what I mean, though?
Yes.
And at the end of the conference, you're exhausted and you actually can't wait to go home. Why are we doing that to ourselves,
Yeah.
so like anyway, I'm learning that that is not something we don't have to do. That we're just humans trying to make it. We don't have to do that. So that's one reason why we do the Kicking SaaS Summit or the Freedom Mastery Series in Costa Rica and countries like this, because this is what I noticed, and this is the takeaway, one of the biggest takeaways. When we aren't relaxed, when we don't feel safe, when we feel competitive or on guard, we don't actually tell the truth.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is we don't tell what we're struggling with. We don't talk
Mm.
about what part of the business we need help with. We don't talk about that we just lost 5 clients at 1,500 a month or whatever it was, and now we're scared of churn and we don't know how to prevent this. When you get people relaxed, when you get everybody friendly and there's like little competition, what happens is true collaboration, true feedback, transparent communication. And that is the goal with all my events, for people to finally shed the fur and say, this is me. I am pretty cool, but I got these problems. Can you give me some advice on how to solve them? You know? So I think that's really important, to remember, you know?
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I attend a lot of conferences in the insurance space. I see a lot of the exact same things, right? You get to some of these conferences and you feel like you have to put on a show, you have to perform, you have to put out your best. It's like Facebook, like we only put out our
Yes.
best stories on Facebook. We don't want to tell everybody about the dumb
Right.
shit that we did a lot of times, you know. So same thing at a lot of conferences. You have a little trouble letting your hair down, so to speak, and letting
Yes.
people really know what's going on in your business. Yeah, and that's an ego thing. Like a big part of that falls on you. Like you got to let go of your ego and just be willing to be
Yes.
like, hey, this is something I'm struggling with. This is the whole reason I came to this conference, was to fix this and learn it. And that's what I
Right.
tell a lot of people about conference. Like if you're thinking of going to a conference, number one, is that conference just going to be a networking event for you? Is there someone there? Is there a problem that you're having in your business that you think someone or some topic at that conference will be able to address?
Right.
And if so, what is it? Identify it, go with the purpose, and be vulnerable, be authentic with yourself. And I was actually sitting in an event last week on Wednesday, and at the end, he opened it up for Q&A, and I just raised my hand. I'm like, hey, if you feel like you're doing all right in your business, but you feel like you're having some challenges and you're not really sure where to start priority wise, what would be your recommended order of operations on how you would audit your business to look for the priority things that can help move your business along?
Yes.
And not to pat myself too much on the back, but that was probably the best question that was asked in the entire event.
Yes.
And he gave it to us flat out. He's like, well, I would start with comp structure, then I would start with this, then I would look at that, and so forth. And he gave us like 4 or 5 items in a row of importance on, like, if you're going to audit your business and your growth, these are the 5 items that you should look at in this order. And
Right.
start to
Yeah.
shape them up. I'm like, this is feverishly taking notes. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
and,
That's
and many
exactly
people
what I needed
silently
for.
being like, "Oh, that's the best question."
Right. So glad somebody asked that.
Yeah.
There are no dumb questions, just dumb people is what they say, right?
Yeah. No, it's true. So true.
Cool. Well, man, one thing is funny because just kind of dialing this back a little bit, or getting us kind of towards some of our more topic. A few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, someone in our insurance syndicate group, you may have saw the post because you're part of the group too, asked a question like, hey, is anybody in insurance using Go High Level as a platform?
Mhm.
And a bunch of us were like, almost everybody.
Yes.
Like it's probably the most widely used CRM, whether you're using it direct or you're using somebody's white labeled version that's out there. And it's love the product. Like I've been using it for years now, and I'm getting better and better at using it every day. One of the things that I love about the platform, but I also find as a rub, because I'm not the most technologically savvy dude, is the amount of updates that it has. Right. It's always changing. It's always updating. Something's going on. Something new is happening. So real quick, I didn't know if you know, what are some new developments that might be coming down the pipe from GHL
Sure.
that we will see?
Yeah. So something that's just released, and is so cool, and they're, figuring out how to improve it. Of course, it's tech, right? Tech is never perfect. I want to preface
Right.
that. A lot of people think, I want to preface that and AI. So really quick, a lot of people think just because like Musk came out with these robots that can help you at home, that means that AI is perfect now and that it can do everything. Wrong. So wrong. You could never be more wrong. Tech is still tech and it's still brand new. The only people who have super advanced tech, who have been doing it for years, is like elitists and the government.
Right.
Okay? Those are the ones that have the AI that barely messes up. All right? We don't even have access to that kind of stuff yet. So people need to like dial it back with their expectations a little bit, in my personal opinion. A lot of people are like, well, why didn't the bot work right? Or why didn't this happen? Or how come the voice AI messed up? I'm like, because it's brand new. It's a baby. That's why. So let's preface that and then move into, so High Level came out. This was a while back. So let's start with some of them a while back and kind of move to the front. Automated replies to comments and DMs. That's
Mm-hmm.
freaking huge. It's insane. That's amazing. You no longer have to be in any of your business DMs. It will handle it for you. You can send them a link, all these different things. You can send them the lead magnet, something of value, a Google Doc, whatever you want to do. Help them get on the calendar, right? So the automated DMs and or replies you want to call, and then the automated replies to comments, super big deal, right? That's a really big deal. The next thing is the voice AI. All right, now let's get into this. This is literally a receptionist to do FAQs or to help get people in the beginning, the top of the funnel, the TOF we call, okay? When the person's calling in, excuse me guys, this woman or man voice, whatever you want to do, um it will talk to them, and it does have a limit right now, and I do know that they will lengthen it. GHL will lengthen that limit, but right now it can go for about 5 minutes or so, okay?
Okay.
But what it can do is it can help route to someone else. It can answer frequently asked questions. I know that people are using it for restaurants, pizza places, hair salons, med spas. It's insane. And when this came out and we were putting together the Kicking SaaS Summit for Costa Rica, I said, okay, there is no way that we're going to miss out on this. So we contacted High Level and we asked them for Fur Patel, the guy who's in charge of the AI employee. And, he works for High Level Corporate. He's an amazing, amazing tech genius. So we have Fur Patel, High Level is sending to open and headline for our event. And what he's going to be doing is in real time teaching and doing a workshop with our attendees on how to build that AI employee robot for their business.
Oh,
This
nice.
is the biggest thing to have come out from High Level right now, the AI voice employee.
Okay.
It is one of the newest things. It's one of the biggest newest things, and it's what everybody is experimenting right now and having a lot of fun with. And it's pretty cool. It's very 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 cool. Then you've got the GHL native, conversational bot inside, which is improving day by day. You can do a lot more with it than I think people realize. Um, and it just takes a little work, and me, I'm always super transparent. There are other bots out there that are a little bit more user friendly that integrate into High Level, but High Level is so good about trying to give you the whole package that they take the time to do segments on what they're going to perfect, right? And so I think that in the next 6 months, the AI voice and the GHL bot are going to be just, eons farther ahead than what they are now. So if you are using High Level and you have not experimented with the AI voice employee, you are truly missing out. We're in the middle of getting it ready for Freedom Automations. Because we're a little bit more higher ticket and we do a lot of programming and custom work, it can only do certain things for me. But let me explain, and I think this is good for anyone that might see this episode. It doesn't actually matter if you have a really complex business or complex offer where you have to do some FaceTime or send them with your programmers. What you do is you flip the switch a little bit psychologically and you pivot. Okay, so the AI employee obviously can't sit for a 2-hour program or dev call, right? But what it could do is funnel out the people that aren't meant for Freedom Automations or aren't ready for our services yet. So, how could I use within 5 minutes or less that AI employee to do almost what? Triage.
Right.
Yes, I can turn that AI employee into almost a triage person for appointment setting. So I don't have to waste my time doing it. I hate using that word, but I could be doing other things and I don't need to be doing all that, right?
Yeah,
So I
absolutely. I mean,
think
if you're a sales agent or business development person, the last thing you want to do is spend your time talking to people that don't qualify.
yes, absolutely. And there are ways, and I know I know people might be like, really, in under 5 minutes you can whatever. Actually, you can. You can get at
Yeah.
least a little bit of an idea by them, especially if you do the AI kind of voice more like the FAQ type thing. Oh, so do you guys do High Level? Yes, we do. Do you guys do this? Yes, we do. Do you support sub accounts? No, not small sub accounts. My team are developers. We don't have time to tell you where the email builder is. Go to High Level Pro Tools. You know, for things like that, right? If you want So, and then the bot could say something like, do you support my agency though, even though you don't do sub accounts? Yes, absolutely. We'll take care of your snapshot. We'll support and consult and strategize your agency. Not a problem, just not the sub accounts you sign under it, right? I could have that AI, and which we're working on. We're going to have that AI answer those questions 5 minutes or less. It's going to be able to pre-qualify people, and the people that make it through, awesome. The people that don't, I'll probably talk to you in another 3 to 6 months anyway when you're back on my calendar. So it is what it is. So I think that that's one of the coolest things right now. And maybe we are a little behind on it, but I'm watching it. I'm watching it
Yeah,
improve.
yeah.
You know.
I've tested the voice AI a little bit. We haven't tested it live. We've tested it internal to listen to it and think of like, okay. And I liked it. I was impressed by it,
Sure.
but I was in the same. I not really in the same boat that you are, but I was like, let me wait a little bit longer to let
Yes.
it catch up and improve before I want to turn it on to my customers. So I'm looking
Yes.
at how we can use it definitely, and I have some good ideas for it, but I'm not ready to turn it on to the customers yet.
Yes.
Because and mostly because we do have a very complex business and we speak Spanish in our business, so it makes it a little different.
Absolutely. And that's a bigger thing too. The second language is where you're going to have to, exactly. So playing with it before and that's one thing that like I just want to say real quick. I won't go on it for long, but for those of you out there offering like any type of offer, whether it's the insurance packages or and policies, or whether it's high level, or whether it's like marketing, people watching this and you help insurance agencies with marketing, I understand that, like, just release it. That's one
Mm-hmm.
way to go about things. But like, not if it's going to actually ruin someone's business or mess up their calls and their actual income. Be careful before you start releasing things, right? A lot of times we get money hungry or gun happy, and we are trigger happy, and we're like, oh, this is awesome. And people are going to pay me thousands and thousands of dollars for this AI. I'm going to release it. Awesome. Boom. And then it fails the client, and they're talking horrible to you. And then you start questioning yourself, and all you really had to do was take 4 to 8 more weeks to like deep dive into something
Yeah,
and really fully understand it before you went and opened your mouth about it. Like, so that's just a piece of advice to anyone watching this. Like, if you're going to offer tech, make sure you understand it to the best of your abilities before you're offering it to people. You know what I mean? Just to be
absolutely.
safe, be careful.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I mentioned, right, that I was out of town last week and I went to a couple of events. In that second event, there was mostly a Medicare event, but one of the things that he talked about was top opportunities. And a lot of the stuff that was in his little list of top opportunities were insurance specific, but he brought up two that were not insurance specific, but more tech specific. And one that he said is a top opportunity right now is call distribution tech evolution, meaning that in years past, giant call centers were the only ones that had access to really good call distribution technology. But now that is filtering down to little guys like us. And now we can actually compete a little more with these large call centers that have buckets and buckets of money. And then the second thing he said was exactly what you were just talking about with the voice AI is artificial intelligence or AI in appointment setting and retention scenarios.
Yes.
So I thought it was pretty apropos that like he mentioned both of he's a big Go High Level user himself. And actually I think I don't remember, but I know he's one of the agency accounts or whatever that
Hmm.
he can bring on. But I thought it was super apropos that he mentioned specifically AI voice or AI retention and so forth. And you're like, yeah, you definitely that AI voice employee is coming around and is useful.
It is.
So
And I will tell you that the year of call centers is kind of coming to, I'm not going to say an end, but what I will say is you can now be the call center. And I will give a
correct.
good example of who has taken this to the next level. And I did not, I waited and waited to refer some people to them and see how it really works, right? There is a phone system out there that integrates with high level called Kixie,
Mm-hmm.
Kixie. Let
That
me tell
seems
you
to be
what,
the go to.
they are kicking some butt right now. They really are. And if anybody's watching this, go tell them Kaitlyn Lemus Portillo sent you. The head guy over there is named Justin Van Steeg. and he is phenomenal. Their team is phenomenal. They're super down to earth people. And that's one of the things that I really loved about them. And to the point where we asked them to come, speak and give a demo and do a workshop at the Kicking SaaS Summit. So Kixie is actually going to be on stage. Justin and the head of Kixie is coming as well. And they're going to show everybody, how it's done. And I think it's really important for insurance and like anybody who is really into massive output and massive input. Kixie is probably the answer. Unfortunately, let's just be honest here. Twilio is difficult at times, Tony.
Yeah.
It is. And it doesn't matter whether you're like playing by the rules or not. It's sometimes really difficult. Kixie gives you the ability to do things that Twilio at this time cannot. Yeah.
Such as, like, maybe give me an example.
Oh, so for example, the registration process in many ways with Kixie is easier. Okay.
Talking about the A2P
So
registration?
yeah. It's just it's a little easier. And we do a lot of A2P registration. We are extreme experts at the A2P thing. We do a lot of that for agencies within high level. However, Kixie allows you to have like notes and just allows you to do so many cool things on a separate platform that has so many user-friendly capabilities compared to Twilio. The control that you have over that dialer and that phone system is just eons beyond what Twilio offers at this time. And also it's really salesperson user-friendly. Okay, which is the number one thing you should actually freaking want for your phone system, because who's using those phones? Your salespeople. I
Absolutely.
want kick butt seamless phone system where I can like write notes and do all these things and I have more control and it's more user friendly and the buttons are nice and bigger and I can see better for the comfort if I'm going to be doing sales for 10 hours a day, so I think that's really important. And uh the other thing is like it's not permanent. So Kixie is like an installation kind of, right? It's like an extension. Okay. And so it's not like it's so permanent that you're done for after you decide to go with them. If you need to do something else, you can. And I think that's important because a lot of times phone systems are like, once you come in, we can't go back.
Right.
And that's not the case with Kixie. It's an extension, so it's separate and it integrates seamlessly into your high level. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I picked that up as well at that event last week. He talked about a couple of different it was Kixie and there was another one that I can't remember what was, but he said he's like Kixie tends to be the number one. He's like, but this other one, whatever it was another one that's out there that are great phone systems. And that's something that we definitely need to improve. Like, we're doing great, but we could simplify it by probably moving to Kixie and away from Nextiva, because Nextiva obviously doesn't integrate, is what it is. But that's the
Right.
phone system that I launched on because I didn't know any better at the time. But I'm at that space where we're growing at a fair rate. I've got new agents, like the business is growing. And now I'm having to circle back to my technology stack and like, okay, how can I improve it? But also, how can I simplify it for the user, the agent, and also obviously our customers? Like, I need to make sure that it's an easy experience for them. But how do I simplify it for the agent that's in here using that tech stack, using that phone system, using gohighlevel or whatever tools he has, to make sure that it's easy, it's simplest? Yes, Mike Moore just said Wave Dialer is the other one. That's the one, Mike.
Oh yeah, Wave. Yeah.
Wave Dialer is the other one that's pretty hot. So I'm actually going back and looking at probably spending a bunch of money upgrading our computer systems and then changing some things around with some of the integrations that we're using.
Right. Well, listen, Tony, when you're ready to go to Kixie or you want some more on that, I'll send you over to Justin and get you taken care of really well.
I will definitely take you up on that 100%. Absolutely. I want to talk to you a little bit about the conversational AI, because this is something that I'm using a lot now. I'm using it kind of like you would use the voice AI, but instead it's just the conversational AI, where I'm using it to disqualify prospects that are coming through a very low intent lead funnel that have, as a matter of fact, it's the funnel that Vincent helped me build. I've updated it some more, and now I've gone back through some of those spots and I've plugged in the conversational AI. So I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but it appears to me as a technologically unsavvy person that there's two different bots within Go High Level. There's the primary bot, it seems like, and then there's your conversational bot that's in your steps that you can
Oh,
add.
so
You know what I'm
Eliza,
talking about?
the regular bot that's been there for a while, Eliza, she can help you book and do things
Well, you
like
have
that on
that
your
one, which
calendar.
I'm definitely not using, but they have a
Yeah, she's kind of
conversational
old now.
bot that you can stuff in there, and then you can train it, right? I can
Yes.
train it on, this should just look at it and I can tell you, but I can train it on a few items. And basically at that step, the way I'm learning it and getting better at it is like, hey, at this step, this is the question that I really want you to get answered.
Right.
You can certainly chat to the prospect about all kinds of other things that are on topic, but make sure you're always steering back to this one question.
Your objective.
Your objective.
Yeah.
Get it answered. And I'm, as you said, obviously it's new.
Yeah.
It's still working. Sometimes I notice it and I watch it. And I'm like, oh, it's working great. Perfect. Qualifies them,
Right.
gets them moved on, sets the appointment, gets it running. And then other times I'll watch it. And I'm like, well, the person responded and they responded positively that they should move through that next step, but the AI still hasn't responded to them yet. And I'm like,
Yes.
what am I doing wrong? So I'm learning how to train it. I cheated a little bit and I went to Chat GPT because they have a Go High Level geek bot, whatever you want to call it, on Chat GPT. And I started asking it questions like, hey, I'm using conversational AI. This is what I'm trying to get done. How would you train it? And it's like, oh, great question.
Right.
I love how it responds. Great idea. That's a great idea, Tony. Let me help you with that. So, but what would you say, or what do you feel about those two different bots? Because here's the problem that I have. I use the conversational AI in the step, right? So I can say, hey, right here at this step of the workflow, turn it on to conversational AI, get this objective done, and then move them through the workflow. Alternatively, I could just turn the one bot on full time and be like, anytime someone hits our messenger, you talk to them. And here's all, and I can train that one a lot more advanced. I can feed it all kinds of information, feed it URLs and teach it and train it. But I'm having issues on which one has the best application for what I'm trying to get done. If that makes any sense.
The long answer is whichever one you feel has the most complexity, that's the one you should probably spend the time with to train it. Because if people are gonna be asking pretty deep or interesting complex questions, then you're going to want to have that one, or you need to stop having those dreams of it being able to do complex and just go with the simple one of like the FAQs and how to pre-qualify. It's like, do you
Correct.
want
And
to
that's kind
have
of where I'm
full-blown
sticking to.
conversations with people?
No, not really.
Because you're paying for the credits, you're paying for the text, you're paying for all of this.
Right.
It's like,
No, I
so
don't want that really. I want it to basically catch the inbound message from our ad. Like these are people that are on Facebook.
Right.
They click an ad, they come in, it picks them up and starts chatting with them. So I'm just trying to improve that process and get it as seamless as possible because my goal is to get that piece running at the level that we don't have to really watch it too much. And it just runs and it's either qualifying people and moving them to an appointment or it's just disqualifying people and moving them to some other resource. And it's working well, but like my VA still has to kind of watch it and look for when people fall off the map. And then he has to come in and try to like, no, and pick up where maybe the AI bot is not quite picking up what they're putting down, so to speak.
Right. One thing I would say is if you want, just get on my calendar so we can share a screen and I can see what you've prompted. Like I would like to see where it's messing up. I'd like to see where it stops responding because I want to see like what you have going on in there, you know? And we could do that and then record it a diagnosis. You could have it for your community because I know some other people are probably using it.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. And it's working a lot better now than it used to, right? Because I've constantly kind of messed with it and jacked with it. I've had to learn how to, one of the problems I had to figure out was I had to change the order of some of the qualification questions I was asking because some of the qualifiers were a little hard and I was asking those a little too early. So it was, people were like clamming up on it. I'm like, no, we got to move that. Make it be compassionate, make it be nice, polite, but short. The other day, it just completely wall of text at somebody like, oh, blam, and just boom, big long text. I'm like, oh my God. So I got to learn to put some of those things in there and figure those out.
Yeah.
So that itself is a bit of a challenge, but I'll definitely take you up on
Yeah,
a
let
screen
me
share
look at it.
opportunity.
Let us help you. We'll record it, and then it'll be good for the future. And I think other insurance agencies might be able to prevent, what's going on with yours.
Absolutely. So is there anything new that Go High Level has up their sleeve that they haven't released or haven't talked about that maybe you could spill the beans on a little bit if you know anything?
They are going to be doing a lot more really cool meetups. This whole new the SaaSpreneur Live series
Uh-huh.
that's coming. They just had the one in Dallas. Now they have the one in Dubai, and this is just really the beginning. And there's not a lot of information beyond that, but I will tell you that if you thought High Level wasn't coming to your city, you probably thought wrong. High Level is going to be probably coming to all the major cities around the world. I think they're going to be doing live SaaSpreneur events all over. I think this is just the beginning of what they literally labeled themselves in a post the other day as their world tour. So I think High Level is about to be more accessible, and like the greats of High Level and like get-togethers and networking and the sense of community is about to skyrocket.
So here's a question. For events like that, does it only make sense to go if you're direct to Go High Level and you're someone that's developing your white labeled version of Go High Level to resell to
No,
users, or is it as valuable for just an end user to
it's
go
just as
and learn?
valuable, just as valuable. You need to go. It's really good. The people are amazing. And even though earlier we joked about, even though we were being serious, like how a lot of events, not just every big event you go to, especially when there's awards involved, there's some sort of ego base, right?
Sure,
These
always.
events, these live events have nothing to do with awards. They have nothing to do with ego. It's a totally different vibe. So yes, I believe everybody should go.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure they will
absolutely.
come to Austin. This is certainly a tech city.
Oh,
Hopefully, if they
absolutely.
do, it'll be nice to see you sometime and meet you. I'll have
Oh,
to maybe
absolutely.
make it down to Costa Rica or maybe El Salvador now. Are you permanently in El Salvador, or are you just up here getting
Yeah.
this shop set up and rolling?
No, we are here. I got a
Okay.
beautiful penthouse and I'm so happy. It's kind of funny. I'm more of a nature gal, and I grow my own food and all these different things. I'm pretty into all that stuff and growing plants and whatever. But I got to a point where and my one of my mentors said this was pretty normal. I got to the point where after I'd become mortgage free by 36, after I'd become car payment free by 36, after I'd help retire my husband, the next thought was like, what next? The dopamine's starting to be gone from that. What next? What do I do now? And you know what he said? He goes, "Now you take care of yourself. Now you go get back in the gym, you lose the 15 pounds you need to lose, you take care of yourself, you go to therapy, you spend more time with your kids. Get a different house, get a penthouse where there's a butler on the bottom floor that you can text anytime, where there's a gym in the building and a cafe in the building and a pool and a this and a that, and you have your whole life like just available instead of being in traffic 24/7, doing this, doing that." He's like, now it's time to actually improve your life. You spent the last 6 years like grinding. Like, what now? And I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. So I came to El Salvador with my husband for a month straight while the kids were on Christmas break. We already had employees from El Salvador. My husband loved it here. I said, I think it's time to make a radical change. I think it's time for me to finally do some things I want to do. I think it's time for me to take care of myself. And so we did it. And I wanted the kids to have really good schools. We got our daughter, Callie, our teen, into an Ivy League prep school here, pretty prestigious school. It was a process. She made it in, thank God. And I'm really big on education and having the right environment. My 4.5-year-old, I wanted her in a private Montessori school. I wanted it to be because I helped found a school in Costa Rica that's still running to this day.
Hmm.
And I handed it over to some amazing people, Roxana and Pete Wanamo from Canada. They're expats and they run and own and have the whole school now. And so that was important to me. And I am enjoying it. I wake up every day and I get to see mountains and a volcano and palm trees from my penthouse balcony. And when I want to go to the gym, I make myself a protein shake and go up to the rooftop floor. When I want to go to the pool, I can walk a couple yards. It's been I didn't see myself living like that, but I also was busy grinding and trying to get the compound in Costa Rica done and get all of that finished. And the goal was again become mortgage free by 35. I'm 36. I was about a year late. Um, and so El Salvador is really my era. It's my era of doing what I want and taking care of me. And taking care of me means I'm going to be an even better mom. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm a great mom. I'm super, super cocky about that. I'm a great mom. I'm a fun mom. I'm a tough mom. I'm a good mom. But I want to be the best mom. I want to be the best wife. I want to be in the best shape of my life. So I made the decision, and my husband was already fully on board. He's wanted to come back to El Salvador for a long time. I said, we're going to El Salvador. We're going to get our kids in Ivy League schools. We're going to get in shape. We're going to start cold plunging every day. Vicente and I are coming into our be great era. And that's really what El Salvador was all about. You know, a lot of people, and I'll keep this quick. I know we're about on time and I've got to head into other things as well. But one thing that I've noticed is this: in the beginning, you're so worried about just making money and getting clients and not starving. Okay. Then you do that for the couple years it takes, right? Then by that time, your hair is frazzled, you've gained 25 pounds you shouldn't have, and you are kind of depleted a little bit. Okay. And that's when you then make the choice. Okay, this can't scale anymore. This can't be any greater. All the money we've made or that we're making doesn't really mean anything anymore because our quality of life is lacking. So it's time to
Mm.
truly put all of that hard work now into ourselves and our bodies and our own spirit. We just joined a church on Sunday. Now Callie's in youth group,
Oh,
our team.
nice.
Like and so it's this is the year of us leveling up ourselves as a couple. And you know, I Grant Cardone on and off and his team have been pretty good mentors to me and his wife Elena. And they told me this 2 years ago. He was like, after we made the money, then we put it in ourselves. We
Yeah.
put it in our bodies. And he's like, you, once you get to a certain point, Kate, that's what's next. You put it in
Right.
your body, you put it in yourself. And so that's the phase I'm at. That's the era I'm at. That's what El Salvador is for us.
Yeah. I'm going kind of back through that process a little bit after starting this agency and IMO a few years ago. But it was right before that. It was right at that time that I was making the switch, right? Because I'd done really well on the wholesale side of insurance. And I got to a space where like I'm doing really well. I'm making excellent money. Ends are meeting like
Yes.
crazy. I don't have any worries. And I started really pouring into myself for a while. But then when I left, things are going to change, right? I'm kind of starting over. I'm taking
Sure.
some of what I had with me, but I'm starting over a bit. But right before I made that switch, I remember eating Chinese food and I get a fortune cookie and I open it. And I don't remember exactly what it said, but I remember the message perfectly. Was basically like, it's time to get to work. You'll have plenty of time to rest later.
Right.
And I just read that and I'm like, oh, I really don't like what he's telling me because he's telling me it's time to bust your ass again and just grind it out. So I'm
So
like,
it's
all
so
right, let's
funny.
go. Let's grind it out again.
I was in El Salvador the month I was here to experience it and see if it was going to be a good move. I got a fortune cookie and I opened it up and it said, "It's time to live the life you love." And I was
Perfect.
like, "What?"
Perfect timing.
Okay. All right. That's
The
it.
best, yeah, the best fortune cookie I ever got when I opened it up, it said, you will receive a fortune. And then in parentheses, it said cookie. I was like, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, all right, man. I really appreciate you taking time. We are at the top of the hours, and I know you got a
Thank you.
busy day. I do too. But thanks for dropping by and giving us some ideas and some updates on everything that's going on in this SAAS
Yes.
and Go High Level world. I know you guys do custom work for guys like me. So if anybody that's listening to this is like, hey, I've got a good Go High Level experience, it's great. I'm not the techie geek that knows how to go in and program it and automate it, and they want to reach out to someone like you for some custom work. How do they contact you? What's the best way?
freedomautomations.com/consultation. Get on my free Zoom calendar and let's help make your dream system.
Piece of cake. And I can stand behind that because I've used you guys before. Vincent did some phenomenal work for me. I'm still using that workflow. And what
Awesome.
I loved about it the most was not only did he do a jamming job, but he walked me through everything that he did so that I understood how it worked, so that I could easily get in there and make little tweaks and updates without wrecking the whole automation sequence. So I really appreciate that. And I'm sure at some point soon, I'll probably be circling back to do some more updates with you guys. So thank you again.
We're ready for it. Thank you so much for having us on, Tony. We're so grateful.
You got it. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your new place in El Salvador. We'll see you on the flip side.
See you soon.